Sometimes, betrayal doesn't come from strangers. It comes from the people you trust the most. This is the story of a woman who lost everything in one single moment: her love, her family, and the future she thought was already written. Molly believed she had it all: a relationship that felt safe, a family she could rely on, and a life that finally made sense. But one lie was enough to destroy everything. What happens when the person who hurts you the most shares your blood? And what if revenge leads you straight into another kind of danger, a love that was never part of the plan? This is not just a story about betrayal. It's a story about lies, temptation, and the price of choosing revenge over truth. This is Love the Way You Lie. At first, Molly's life looks ordinary, quiet, predictable, almost perfect. She's in a relationship with Connor, a man she trusts completely. He's charming, confident, and deeply connected to her family. They spend holidays together. Dinners feel warm, laughter fills the room, and standing right beside her is her sister. Her sister smiles often, listens carefully, supports Molly in every conversation. At least, that's what it looks like. But sometimes, the most dangerous lies are hidden behind kindness. Molly doesn't notice the small signs, the lingering looks, the silence that feels slightly too long, the way her sister knows things she was never told. To Molly, everything feels safe, until one night changes everything. It starts with a conversation she was never meant to hear. A door half open, voices lowered. Connor's voice, her sister's voice. At first, she thinks she's imagining it. Her heart refuses to accept what her ears are hearing. But then the truth lands, heavy and unforgiving. Connor isn't just close to her sister. He's chosen her. The betrayal is immediate, sharp, and impossible to ignore. Molly confronts them, expecting denial, excuses, regret. Instead, she finds silence, and worse, justification. Her sister doesn't apologize, she explains. Connor doesn't beg for forgiveness. He looks relieved, as if Molly was always the obstacle. That night, Molly doesn't just lose a relationship. She loses her place in her own family. The betrayal spreads even deeper when the subject of inheritance comes up. Legal documents, signatures, decisions made behind her back. By morning, Molly is no longer just heartbroken. She is erased. No love, no support. No future she recognizes. And as she sits alone, staring at a life that no longer belongs to her, one thought begins to form: not sadness, not forgiveness, but something far more dangerous: revenge. Molly doesn't cry right away. She doesn't scream. She doesn't throw things or beg for explanations. She simply stands there, frozen. Her sister avoids her eyes. Connor looks uncomfortable but not guilty. And in that silence, something breaks inside Molly. Quietly, permanently. The words come next. Cold. Carefully chosen. They explain that feelings changed, that it wasn't planned, that no one wanted to hurt her. But the truth is already clear. They didn't just fall in love. They chose each other, and they chose to leave Molly behind. What hurts the most isn't Connor's betrayal. It's her sister's calm voice while explaining it, as if stealing someone's life can be justified, if you say it softly enough. Days pass, but nothing gets better. Family gatherings become uncomfortable. Phone calls stop coming. Doors close quietly, one after another. And then comes the second blow. The inheritance. Molly had always believed it was secure, something promised, something fair. But suddenly, there are documents she's never seen before, decisions she was never invited to, signatures that appeared without her name. Her sister knows too much about it. Connor says nothing, and the family chooses silence. No one defends her. No one questions the timing. No one asks how she feels. Molly realizes something terrifying. She didn't just lose her partner. She lost her position. In one move, she went from daughter to inconvenience, from sister to problem. The house that once felt warm now feels hostile. Every room carries memories that no longer belong to her. She starts sleeping less, eating less, drinking more. At night, the anger arrives. Not loud, not explosive, but sharp. She replays moments in her head. Every smile that now feels fake. Every conversation that suddenly makes sense. And one name keeps coming back. Adrian, Connor's uncle. A man she's seen only a few times before. Always polite, always distant, always watching more than he speaks. She remembers how her sister once mentioned him casually. How dangerous he could be. How powerful his opinion was inside the family. That's when the thought appears. Small at first, almost innocent. What if I take something from them? Not money, not property. Something far more personal. Something they can't ignore. The idea feels wrong, then exciting, then necessary. Molly convinces herself it's justice, that she deserves this much. She doesn't plan to fall in love. She doesn't plan to stay. She just wants control back. And Adrian becomes the door. But what Molly doesn't know yet is that some doors, once opened, refuse to close quietly. And some lies change the liar just as much as the person being lied to. The idea doesn't arrive all at once. It grows slowly. At first, Molly tells herself she's just thinking, just imagining possibilities, just looking for a way to breathe again. But the more she thinks about Adrian, the more the idea sharpens. Adrian isn't like Connor. He doesn't speak to fill silence. He doesn't try to impress. When he looks at someone, it feels deliberate, as if he's choosing what to see. Molly remembers the last family dinner she attended before everything fell apart. Adrian sat at the far end of the table, quiet, observant. He noticed when Molly stopped eating, when she excused herself early, when her smile faded. And unlike everyone else, he said nothing. That silence stayed with her. Now, alone in her apartment, surrounded by boxes she never finished unpacking, Molly starts researching him. Not obsessively, not desperately, carefully. She learns where he works, what kind of life he keeps, how rarely he speaks about family. She also learned something else. Adrian doesn't approve of Connor, never has. And that detail changes everything. The plan begins to take shape. Not reckless, not emotional. Controlled. She tells herself she won't cross lines. She won't let feelings get involved. She won't lose herself. She just wants them to feel what she felt. The loss, the confusion, the quiet humiliation. The first encounter is accidental, or at least, it's meant to look that way. A chance meeting at a bar Adrian sometimes visits after work. Molly makes sure she looks composed, not desperate. Calm, but fragile enough to invite concern. Adrian recognizes her immediately. He doesn't smile. He simply nods. They talk. About nothing important at first. Work, weather, time. But beneath every word, something else moves. Adrian senses the tension, the unspoken pain. Molly senses his restraint, and for a moment, she almost walks away. Because something about Adrian feels dangerous. Not in the way Connor was dangerous, careless and selfish. But in a deeper way, Adrian feels like someone who sees too much. Still, she stays. The second meeting isn't an accident. This time, Molly reaches out. She tells herself it's just conversation, just distraction. But she starts opening up. Not fully. Never fully. She talks about betrayal without names, about family without details. Adrian listens. And when he finally speaks, his words are quiet, measured. You shouldn't punish yourself for other people's choices. The sentence lands harder than she expects. No one has said that to her before. That night, Molly drinks more than she should. The anger loosens. The plan feels easier. She touches his arm. Just briefly. Adrian notices. He pulls back, not rejecting her, but protecting something. And that restraint makes her want him more, because now it's not just revenge anymore. It's power. Molly realizes she has something she hasn't felt since the betrayal. Control. She decides to go further. The third meeting crosses a line, not physically, emotionally. She lets Adrian see the version of herself she's been hiding, the broken one, the furious one. Adrian doesn't try to fix her, he doesn't judge, he simply stays. And that was never part of the plan, because the most dangerous part of revenge is when it starts to feel like comfort. And somewhere deep inside, Molly begins to wonder, what if this isn't just a lie anymore? And what if the person she's trying to use is the only one who truly sees her? At some point, Molly stops pretending this is just a game. She still calls it revenge in her head. Still tells herself she's in control. But control is already slipping. It happens in small moments. Moments she didn't plan for. Like the way Adrian looks at her when she speaks. Not with curiosity, but with understanding. Like the way he remembers details she never meant to share. Like the silence that feels comfortable instead of awkward. Molly notices it first when she laughs around him. A real laugh. The kind she hasn't heard from herself since before the betrayal. And that scares her. Because revenge isn't supposed to feel like this. They start seeing each other more often. Not always planned. Not always accidental. Coffee turns into long walks. Walks turn into late dinners. Dinners turn into conversations that stretch past midnight. Adrian never asks questions he doesn't need answers to. But somehow, Molly tells him everything anyway. Not the whole truth. Never the whole truth. Just enough to feel seen. And Adrian, he listens. He doesn't defend Connor. He doesn't excuse the family. But he doesn't encourage hate either. Instead, he asks questions that make Molly uncomfortable. Do you know what you actually want? Or do you just want them to hurt? Molly avoids answering, because she doesn't know anymore. The attraction grows slowly, dangerously. Not explosive, not dramatic. Quiet. The kind of attraction that sneaks into your thoughts when you're alone, that lingers long after someone leaves the room. One night, after too much wine and too many unspoken feelings, the distance between them disappears. Not in a rush, not recklessly, just naturally. Adrian doesn't kiss her at first. He waits, as if giving her one last chance to stop. And Molly almost does. Almost. But then she remembers her sister's smile, Connor's indifference, the family's silence. And she steps forward. The kiss changes everything. It isn't about passion. It isn't about winning. It feels like recognition. And that's when guilt arrives. Not immediately, but later. When Molly lies awake alone, replaying the moment again and again, because now it's no longer just her secret. Adrian is involved, and he doesn't deserve to be used. Molly starts pulling back. She cancels plans, delays replies, creates distance. Adrian notices. He doesn't chase her. He simply asks one question. Are you running from me or from yourself? She doesn't answer, because the truth is unbearable. She's afraid. Afraid that this isn't revenge anymore. Afraid that she's falling for the one man she was never supposed to touch. Afraid that when the truth comes out, she'll lose him the same way she lost everything else. Meanwhile, the family senses something is wrong. Her sister becomes suspicious. Connor becomes restless. Adrian's name starts coming up in conversations, casually, carefully. And Molly realizes something terrifying. If this continues, she won't just hurt them. She'll destroy everyone involved, including herself. The pressure builds. Every look feels loaded. Every message feels dangerous. And the lie, the one she thought she could control, now controls her. Because the worst part about falling in love during revenge is realizing you finally found something real while standing on a lie. And as Molly stands at the edge of that truth, she knows the next step will cost her everything, one way or another. The truth doesn't arrive loudly. It doesn't explode all at once. It leaks, slowly, painfully. It begins with a look. Molly notices it during a family gathering she almost didn't attend. A brief glance exchanged between Connor and her sister. A pause when Adrian's name is mentioned. Something has shifted. The room feels tighter, the air heavier. And for the first time since everything began, Molly realizes she's no longer the only one hiding something. Her sister confronts her first. Not directly. Not honestly. It starts with passive comments, sharp smiles, questions that sound innocent but carry venom underneath. How well do you really know Adrian? He's not the man you think he is. Molly hears the jealousy immediately, and instead of feeling satisfaction, she feels exhausted, because the lie has grown too big. It has taken a life of its own. Connor is next. He approaches Molly privately, his tone defensive, almost threatened. You need to stay away from him, he says. Not because he cares about her, but because he's afraid. Afraid of what Adrian represents. And that realization hits Molly harder than she expects. Connor never loved her. He loved control. And now, he's losing it. But the most painful moment comes later, when Adrian finally confronts her. Not with anger, not with accusations, with honesty. He asks her directly, "Did you come to me because of them?" The silence between them stretches. Molly could still lie. She could still twist the story. But something inside her is done. She tells him, not everything, but enough. Enough for Adrian to understand that he was part of a plan, that the connection he believed in started as revenge. The disappointment in his eyes is quiet and devastating. He doesn't shout. He doesn't insult her. He simply steps back. "I trusted you," he says. And that hurts more than any accusation. Molly tries to explain. She talks about pain, about betrayal, about losing everything. But explanations don't erase choices. And Adrian makes one of his own. He walks away. That night, Molly finally breaks. Not in front of anyone, not for sympathy. Alone. She cries for the love she lost, for the family that failed her, for the man she hurt. For herself. Days pass, the family implodes, secrets come out, documents are questioned, old lies resurface, the inheritance scandal becomes public, blame shifts, and suddenly Molly is no longer the villain. But it doesn't matter, because she has already lost the one thing that felt real. Adrian distances himself completely. No messages, no calls. And Molly understands something she avoided for too long. Revenge didn't heal her. It delayed the pain. And now the cost has arrived. But this time, she doesn't run. Instead of chasing forgiveness, Molly does something unexpected. She chooses herself. She steps away from the family drama, from the manipulation, from the cycle of lies. She rebuilds quietly, not to prove anything, not to punish anyone, just to survive. And as she stands alone again, stronger, clearer, she knows one truth without doubt. Love built on lies will always collapse. But honesty, even when it costs everything, might still be worth it.